in 3, 2.
We ready right now.
Me, yeah.
All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
How are you?
Hey, who wants to help me get this recorder out of here? I need some muscle over here.
You are listening to Blame Your Brother.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Blame Your Brother. Thanks so much for checking us out, however you found us, whether that's on the podcast or if you're watching us on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. on YouTube, youtube.com/blameyourbrother. You can come hang out with us as we record the show live, watch the magic happen in real time. So do that every Thursday night, and I will introduce who is Blame Your Brother. I am one half of that duo. I am David, a.k.a. D-Brew, voice of people, Mr. 40%, Glenn Jackson, the spiritual midget, and I sit next to this gentleman on my left here. It's John.
Hey everybody, John here, a.k.a. Tico, a.k.a. Mr. Gru, bleeping John. I'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, boy.
Mr. PTI, the madman.
They got John Tortorella, a madman.
They do a madman.
Okay, he's a madman.
All right. Well, some tease at the beginning of the show. Yes, so we are Blame Your Brother. We record this show. It comes out every week, and we hope you guys can subscribe, check it out, and all that good stuff. So let's just go ahead. We'll get started because we have many things tonight. The Mount Rushmore of Stoners in honor of 420 being this week. We had to do it. You know?
Had to.
So we'll get to that about midway through the show. We've got some topics to discuss, but we'll start like we do every week. John, what is happening in your world?
I think I found the key to losing weight.
Oh, please share.
Go to the dentist a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's
Yeah, I went to the dentist Tuesday, and like ever since, I just not feeling like eating.
What?
Like, not hungry at all. And
So it's not.
I mean, you know me.
Yeah.
I can put down some food. I mean,
So wait a second. So it's not the pain. You're not hungry. Huh.
I don't know. I mean, it might be the pain too. I think it's just
Yeah.
it's something is just causing
Wow.
food not to be desirable.
Weird.
Yeah.
Because I also went to the dentist this week, and the dentist gets a lot of bad rep. I mean, I think it's a lot like going to a car mechanic.
Oh yeah.
Anytime you go to a car mechanic, you're like, oh man, it's going to cost me. Well, yeah, you're going there because there's problems, you know.
Yeah.
So what are you doing at the dentist?
I am. I know that you know this, but maybe a lot of listeners. I have a lot of self-consciousness when it comes to my mouth.
All right.
And we both have.
Yes, for sure.
But as bad as you always thought yours was, I'd have put a nun in a headlock to trade situations with you.
Well, yeah.
And so I've with the stimulus packages that are coming out, and the fact that I really didn't have to take off work this year. Corona has not been too horrible on my family.
Same.
Knock on wood.
Right.
So I've got a little bit of money, and so actually been able to actually have a chance to get my situation going.
All right.
So started Tuesday, and then I'm basically for the first few months, I'm just gonna be going every week.
And you're getting just like work done that needs to be done, like problem spots
starting off with, and then eventually braces.
Okay, good.
The whole
Good
9
for you.
yards. And
yeah,
so,
I mean, if no one knows, first time listen, I had braces for 2.5 years while doing the show, which was always it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
having guests come in. I mean, and you never. It's really weird at first when you get them, and then you kind of get used to it. But you're still, I mean,
there's that kind of cloud.
You're aware.
Yeah,
a guest never really said anything. I mean, actually, one guest, a cheerleader for the Titans, was like very interested in it. She was talking to me for like 5 or 10 minutes, but. I encourage everyone. I was at a Top Golf, and this girl came up to me, and her teeth weren't that bad, but she had like some canine teeth were a little bit off or whatever. But anyway, she's like, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" And I was being kind of rowdy at Top Golf, so I was like, "Oh boy, here we go." And she was asking, "Should I get braces?" I'd say, "Hey, if you're gonna do it, because one day you're not gonna be able to do it. You're gonna be in the ground." Any age is the age to be comfortable. Like, yes, I understood for years I wouldn't smile in any pictures, and it kind of sucked. And, now I have a daughter. I was like, well, I definitely,
Want to be in pictures with her. Yeah.
Smiling. And so good for you.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, it's going to suck getting there. I mean, that.
Yeah.
But good. But maybe you lose some weight in I lost a little bit of weight at first because it does when you get the braces. I mean, it you can't eat a bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
especially when you get them tightened. Oh man, you're not eating anything for a couple of days because your teeth hurt, because they're tightening up your teeth. But so is there a timeline for this or
About 2 years.
I mean, when are you going to have the braces on?
Oh,
I mean, do they know or a couple?
probably looking by the end of May, hopefully sooner.
Nice, John. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, well, there we go. I mean, that's good. That's fantastic news, bro. I didn't even know that. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been a cloud over my head since I was a little kid.
brother, no one
And
understands.
so
Yes, no one understands it. That, like, I would go to parties. So parties of friends, of course. Who cares? I mean, you're kind of yourself. You can do whatever. But
yeah.
my wife would have all these like social parties, and these were all like wealthy people, and they would always, in some conversation, I got braces. I can't imagine people not getting them, and blah blah blah. I'm just like, this is a bummer, dude. Like, I don't even want to talk to these people anymore, because I'm like self-conscious,
Yeah.
and no one understands it. And I think it is a huge. I wish somehow, I don't know how, and if anyone knows how, I would love to help a program to help people like that, because it really is like, it matters a lot.
Well, and as far as we grew up, neither of our families were like had the money that they could just, all right, let's go to the dentist and get this fixed.
Oh yeah, no,
And no matter, I'm sure it broke my mom's heart that she couldn't do something to help me out.
Yeah.
And so, I think it'd be a great, a program that could be, in fact, the little work that I had to have done, I know was anonymously done from like people from the church we went to when we were in high school. Just because, I mean, my pastor was like, hey, do you want to go to the dentist? I was like, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we just took care of some stuff that was like absolute, and it didn't cost us a dime, but it's still, it's night and day. I didn't even notice this until a few years ago, and then I rewatched, oddly enough, an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond.
Okay.
That caused me to put these two scenarios together.
Oh, here we go.
I used to work construction for a while, and like some of the guys, like, we'd be packing up to leave for the day, and they're like, "How is your nose dirty?" It's like, nothing else is dirty on you. How is your nose dirty? And then, like, a few years ago, a buddy of mine, Josh, he was actually in my wedding party. He was joking with me. He's like, "Who am I?" And it was just me and him. He kept touching his nose. I'm like, "Who?" He's like, "That's you." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Dude, you always touch your nose." And I'm like, "No, I don't." And then I just didn't put it together. And there was an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond, and it kept the older brother, played by Brad Garrett.
Yeah.
Every time he would eat, he would touch his chin with the spoon before he would eat.
Yes. Okay.
And they're like, "Why do you do that?" And they were trying to figure out why he did it. And apparently, when he was a little kid, when he was watching his mom feed Raymond as a baby, she would kind of scoop the food that would drain down his chin.
Yeah.
She'd scoop it up and feed him again. And apparently, I'd constantly touch my nose when I was talking, so people wouldn't be able to see my teeth.
Okay.
And I didn't put that together until all that.
Okay. Well, I never know. I've always, like I said, I mean, around my closest friends, I didn't really give a crap,
Yeah.
I mean, like, and it's really, when you look back at, the people you interacted with, and even being younger, and the people you dated, I guess sometimes it's a bigger obstacle in your head than or maybe not. I don't, some people are nice and they're never going to say anything, and some people are not so nice, or not even not being nice, but they're just matter of fact.
Or some like kids. I mean, they're going to they'll just walk up to you and say, "What's wrong with your teeth?"
Yeah, that's happened, and
that's like.
And I'd say, well, I just didn't get braces. I mean, kids, it didn't bother me much as kids, but yeah, well, that's good, man. That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, that's going to be fantastic. Trust me, dude. It's getting them off was like all-time moment. Like, I mean, it was crazy. Like, I was almost like in tears, like, because it's just, it's just an unreal feeling. And people, like I said, a lot of people don't get it. You know, some people grew up, like you say, grew up in well households and their parents had money and they went to the dentist all the time. We like never went to the dentist. When we went to like the free clinic. So the first time I ever remember going to the dentist, I only had 2 cavities, which was pretty mind blowing at the time because I had never been. I was probably like 12 years old. And I was petrified of needles as a kid, which is funny now because I get blood all the time. Who cares? I don't care about needles. Back then I was petrified.
I don't care who you are. Even now, they apply the topical Novocaine, and then they give you the needle for the big Novocaine. It still hurts.
Oh, it hurts a little bit.
When I was a little kid, that big needle,
oof.
I had tears coming.
Well, so I got to get cavities filled, drill into my mouth, and I was so hysterical. The person said, well, how about I don't give you the shot and just give you the fillings without a shot? And I got that done. I don't know if you've ever had that done. Most people have it. That was pain I've never felt before.
I'd imagine so.
I never.
Because if the needle hurts that bad.
Oh, yeah. No, bro.
That's got to be another level.
Oh, bro. It was pain I've never felt before. I was like, if I was being tortured and they did, I would give everything up. Like, I don't care. Like, I have the nuclear codes. They're yours. What do you want? Like, I would be terrible in those movies. So I went to the dentist this week. I got to get an implant on one of my back teeth. It had been a problem spot, but never really hurt it. And then it started hurting. I went in. They're like, well, it's gone. It's whatever. So normally, I guess they put you under when they do these implants because they got to take your tooth out. They got to apply a bone graft, and then they got to put in there's a metal like rod they put into your teeth. I don't know if people know that or whatever.
Well, I'll get to that in a minute.
So I got that, and the first time I went, he was like, are you going to be all right if we don't put you under? I didn't really want to be put under because, A, I didn't want anybody to have to come with me, and B, I was like, I'm pretty good with pain as I've gotten older. Like, I was younger, I was weak, but now I've gotten pretty good at it, So the first time I went, they pulled the tooth. That's always weird because you can hear it, like, pulling and snapping, and they put the bone graft in, no pain. So I went back the second time. Oh, baby, it was pain. Like, they numbed it up, and I was still, like, my head was on fire because they put I don't know why it hurt this time, but they put the metal pin in there. And, ooh, man, I had to go home and medicate, man, because it was in pain. So I went to the dentist as well this week. But, yeah, so you're going to have to get a few implants or?
Probably I might have to.
Yeah.
My biggest issue with my mouth up to date was one of my front teeth was a cap.
Yeah.
And that's how they used the rod.
Okay.
And the problem was I'll be honest, when I was younger, I did not have very good dental hygiene at all.
Right.
I just wasn't. We had 5 kids in our family. We were poor, and each of us kids did not get a lot of attention at one point in time.
I understand.
Just the way it was, especially because most of the time my parents were separated from the time I was age 6 on. And
of course,
so it was a single parent trying to divvy out time to 5 different kids. In a place like Baltimore, no less.
Oof, baby.
But so what happened was that my gums had become so inflamed that they pushed the tooth down.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And you could actually see around the tooth, and it looked like black all around the top and around the tooth. Mm-hmm. And so, thankfully, that's what I did Tuesday. I mean, I'll show you. I'm still.
I understand.
I'll show it today. But
okay. Oh yeah. That's it.
And so it's the biggest issue for me, and still not a long shot from where I want to end up, but that was the biggest issue. And then, but I'll be glad when I'm. Well, I guess my whole life basically it's been an issue for me, and to be able to come out the other side and not have to second guess myself every time I look
it's gonna
smile at somebody,
bro. I can't explain the change, man. I really can't. I mean, people like I'll always like people. People know me, and and they think like we're cut ups, and we are. And we think we're like, oh, those dudes are crazy. They'll do everything, but. Anytime I ever talk to anyone in any situation, we'd go to bars, nightclubs, things like that. That was always like in the back of my mind, and I don't know, once that's lifted off, it's kind of a crazy feeling. So man, it's going to be great to to watch progress.
I mean, I think my life will just totally flip around.
I think, yeah, well, I think.
I mean, one big thing that I mean, and you know this, my favorite thing to do, period, is to sing.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I'm singing, I'm thinking about that.
Yeah, no,
as opposed to try and make the notes and everything sound good.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say I'm a bad singer at all, but I think that once I get that taken care of and that's not on my mind, I mean, I think I could even bring that up.
There we
a
go,
notch,
brother.
so.
We might go syndicated after that. No, that's awesome, man. That's so you've got me. I can tell you all about stuff I did and all that. So and I just did it. So I'll be there for you, support wise, and I'm excited, man.
I mean, definitely you were a source of inspiration for this.
Well,
I mean,
good.
because I figured, man, if Dave can do this, and he's got some months on me.
Yeah.
And then also, I'm going to bring it up again, Corona. The fact that I've been wearing a mask for the past year,
right?
I've actually really come out of my shell.
I've
especially like at work and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, everybody. I've never said this about any time of my life, but I am the coolest person at my job right now.
The mask. I thought it was ironic that pretty much when I got my braces off was when the mask was on. So I'm like, well, no one can see it, but it's, it's fine. I thought that was kind of I was like, yeah, I get my braces off, and of course everyone's wearing.
I kind of wish that had started this last year, this time.
Man. But the time's gonna fly. I'm telling you, time flies anyway. And there's going to be moments where
the days are long, but the years are quick.
Right.
So.
If the mask mandate stays on for another year, you're solid, because the hardest thing I had to do was going to work that first day. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do this and da-da-da. And after that first day, I was like, maybe I made a bad decision, but I was like, nah, but we're good. We'll follow that progress. I can't wait. It's going to be fantastic.
I mean, people already think I look young.
There you go.
So people are going to, when the mask does come off, people are coming into the hotel thinking, what are you, like 20?
I think John's 25 years old. There you go. All right. Well, that was our week right there. Well, that's good news. We'll stay on top of that. And let's talk about some news real quick. Of course, the big news in the world today, Derek Chauvin. Is that how you pronounce it? Derek Chauvin. I believe that's how you say it.
I think he has another ist pig.
I know. Isn't it weird? It's chauvinistic. I mean, it's weird. The verdict came in. He was found guilty on all 3 charges, which were basically murder, manslaughter, something else, some negligent homicide, whatever. I'm
not surprised.
Oh, no. But I was watching it. I was definitely paying attention the entire day it was on. And I was getting a little bit nervous because I was like, you never know with the jury. I'm like, here's what I say. And no matter whether you're pro cop, you're Black Lives Matter, all this. And I mean, to me, it's simple. This man put his knee on this man's neck and stood on his back for 9 minutes. If you reasonably do not think that can pretty much kill someone, you shouldn't be walking the streets anyway, probably. Yeah. I mean, are you insane, man? Like, the average person can't even barely hold their breath for like a minute.
I was thinking about when the verdict came out. There's a lot of thoughts that came to my head. Yeah. But one thought, just because of last week, this guy seems like New Jack as a cop.
Yeah.
He feels that he has the right to hurt somebody, and so he feels like he has carte blanche to do that.
100%.
And so that was one thought. Another thought, I mean, do I believe he deserves what he got? Yes, wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I just hope that there aren't people thinking that was the verdict to avoid social disturbance.
I've read that, but I don't believe the jury. I believe once you're in that jury room and you're cut off from the rest of the people and you're following the rules, I don't think they're probably thinking that too much. Like, I know media talks about that a lot, but they're not watching the media. They may not even know all those people were outside the courtroom, truthfully. I mean, because they're sequestered. Yeah. To some degree. I guess, I don't know if these people went home. Sometimes they're sequestered from their family. Like OJ, maybe they went home, but you're not supposed to watch the news now. Did they not watch it? Who's to say? But I would just think any reasonable jury would look at this and go, sorry, man. Like I say, was it first degree? Of course not. But, man, everyone around you was telling you to stop. fellow cop was like, dude, I think you need to stop, man. He's like, get back, rookie. You know, the crowd, everyone in the crowd was like, dude, you need to get off him. He's telling you.
If nothing else, there were little kids that were witnessing this.
Yeah, like a little girl.
Yeah. And, I mean, I know that's a weakness for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how mad I'd have to be at somebody to hurt them with my son watching.
It's crazy. So I think they got this one right, and I don't even say I think they got this one right. If you're a person that sides, like Brett Favre came out and goes, well, I don't think he was trying to kill him. And I'm just thinking, bro, what did he think was the end result of cutting this man's air supply off for 9 minutes? I mean,
the thing is when you are a police, in order to become a police officer, even before that, long before that.
Yeah, that's true too.
You have to take so many courses in CPR and first aid. And for him not to know,
right,
there was either a mental issue that came over him,
yes,
or he was just hell bent on hurting someone.
That's true.
And that is in no way, shape, or form a position that you want somebody to be in power.
Right. And you summed it up perfectly. He either was crazy or he went with the intent to put this guy down. Like he thought he was a dog, And I'll say about this, is the man racist? I don't know the man. Okay. I don't know anything about him. I've never met him. I've never had a conversation with him. I don't know anything about him. So whether he was racist or not, he caused this man's death straight up. There's no way to argue about it. They could bring all the specialists out and say, one guy was like, maybe it was carbon monoxide from the, and I was like, bro, what are you doing, man? Like, it's insane to me. So I just want to get that out of the way. Good for them. All that. Now let's get to a funnier story. I love COVID deniers, bro.
Still,
I love it when they get COVID. Like, okay, Donald Trump was one of the big ones to me. The Nuge, man. So Donald Trump was one of those guys who downplayed it, then got it, almost died, had to be life flighted to a hospital, given drugs we probably don't even know about, truthfully. No. I mean, this guy's the president. They're keeping this dude alive. So Ted Nugent came out this past week, and Baco from Cobras and Fire is in the chat tonight. So thank you for with us. So is Kent and a few other people, but I just know those two are here, and they're normally not. But they talked about Ted Nugent, and he went on a live stream, went, COVID-19, what happened to COVID 1 through 18? I'm like, oh, bro, what are you doing? So he was railing against it, like these right wingers, it's fake. The stats are wrong. They never have any proof to show you. Like anybody can say anything, and he was just like, it ain't that bad, da-da-da. And then he gets it and goes, it was one of the worst things that's ever happened to me. I'm like, dude, come on, man.
What'd you think was going? This ain't chicken pox, bro.
I know. I just don't understand it. I mean, I never will. And I'm thankful
I hope
for
I
that.
don't.
Right.
Yeah.
But dude, this is obviously a real thing. And you can argue about how many people died. Like, okay, so what? So, well, some deaths are attributed to this. If you had this, you got this. Okay. I mean, whatever, dude. It's still, a lot of people have died. Okay.
Here's my take on it. I believe every war, including the Civil War, is based on money.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it was about slavery, but it was about them losing money.
Right.
Everything comes down to money. Now, if the entire world is willing to give up money for this, it's a big deal.
Yeah, that's
Do
true.
not underestimate the power of greed in the world, all right? That's all I've got to say.
So you're right.
Yeah.
What is the plan of the global conspiracies, as these people say? What is their plan? Is their plan to, like you said, literally halt the dollar where they can do what? Wearing masks, man, it's on my liberty. Like, dude, have you been to Japan? Like, I went to Japan like 4 years ago. Like, a lot of people there wear masks because they don't want to get sick. I would actually like to see more people in society wearing masks when flu season rolls around.
I mean, I'd like to pick and choose who's wearing masks.
Well, that's for sure, yeah. For sure. But, it's like you work with people and they come in and they are sick and you're like, why are you here? Like, what are you doing here? You need to go home immediately. You're going to get everyone sick, and then everyone gets sick. And you're like, oh, I didn't know. So I'm like, bro,
do you not know how sick works?
Right. I don't think they do. So Uncle Ted, the guy is a nut job in himself. He is, he's like that crazy right-wing guy, that's kind of entertaining at times. I mean, when he starts railing on like the Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I find it hilarious. I mean, and he makes some good points about it, like, why isn't this person in? Jam Master J's in and blah, blah, blah's not in. And I think it's funny. I think you can find humor in these guys, but we don't, because we're never taking them seriously.
Yeah.
But then I start to go, oh, wait a minute. There's a lot of people that do take this guy seriously, and that's a scary thought, But that myth is going to continue to be perpetuated. And like
I heard, I can't remember which one said it, but there's a comedian who's talking about people wearing, he's talking to somebody in Texas that was wearing, and he got off a plane or something, he was wearing a mask. Why you got to live in fear? And he's like, we're the ones living in fear? Who are the ones hoarding a bunch of guns?
Yeah, that's true.
And why?
That's a good point. That's good. That's a good bit. Yeah, that's for sure. All right, so last story I want to touch on real quick. Eva Mendez, you know who that is, right?
Yes.
Eva Mendez,
She's
married
to Ryan Gosling.
One of my
he's a great actor.
One of my guy crushes for sure. I love Ryan Gosling. Anything's in, I'll go see. I'm all about the Gosling. Married Eva Mendez, and she came out with a statement yesterday or a day before that she basically is against spanking. She said, if you spank your child, it's akin to abusing a partner you're in a relationship with. I mean, maybe it's a far-fetched. I don't know. I mean, so I guess I want to discuss, and this has been like a big discussion, because our views as parents, we have views on spanking. Now, mine, I did spank Jake, my firstborn, for a little bit. And I just went, what am I doing? This is like stupid. The only reason I'm doing this is because it was done to me growing up. I think this is inherently bad. I would read articles saying it's bad for the kid. Psychologists say it's not well for him. I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. So I stopped, I stopped it. I haven't spanked him in probably, forever, since they, and I kind of got it at a point when I look at my dad, who I got spanked all the time, dude. Like, I mean, like he created a paddle to spank me with, for stupid. So I look back, I wasn't even that bad of a kid. I never did anything. I mean, that. I didn't do anything crazy. I wasn't like out like smoking or drinking or breaking curfew. This was like stupid stuff I was getting in trouble for. Well, anyways, that's where I stand. I think it is bad for children. I don't think it's good. I find that the people I work with who do spank their children are generally, there's two classes. I saw it was either, obviously it's always poor people. You come back to socioeconomics. It's a lot of the lower class people that still believe in spanking. And then I found a lot of the black coworkers I had still spank their children. And so I don't know if that's just something biblical or something in the community, but that's where I stand. I'm anti-spanking. Now, where do you stand on it, John?
I'm not a hard no. I don't do it.
Right.
There has been times where I've had to, I swatted Asher's hands, mostly for if he's hitting Emily.
Right, but a swat and a spank.
And there's two different things.
Right.
I believe in discipline over punishment. If what you're going to do is going to make that child or person better, then do it.
Right.
But if it's not, if it's just because you're angry, or if it's just to get them to stop doing that thing in that moment, then that's punishment, and that's two different things.
Yeah.
If you discipline and the word disciple come from the same root word.
Okay.
And that's basically what your children are. They're your disciples. You are there to make them better people.
Right.
And if what you're doing is not going to make them a better person, then don't do it. Now, if there comes a situation, one of the few times mom ever hit Vinny. Vinny's my oldest brother. And Vinny was basically abused by my dad.
Right, for sure, yeah.
The only time she hit Vinny was he ran out into the street. And this was in New York, in Brooklyn. And those were busy streets.
Right.
And she had to snatch him back, and she swatted him hard on the butt. And that got his attention.
Right.
He never did it again. But it wasn't a beating. It wasn't repeated.
Yeah.
And so I think if you're doing something to get your kid's attention, and it's a one-time, hey, I'm here, and this is so you don't do that again.
Right. See,
I don't view that as a spanking. That's a wake up call.
I don't. Yeah, that's
and
not.
so
yes.
that's different. But if you were to call that a spanking, I'd say yeah, that's fine. But
I think spanking to me implies spanking is a plural form, and yeah, I mean a swat. I mean we've all swat our kids because they did something stupid. You know, like if your kid was going to reach for a hot stove, what would you do?
Yeah,
I mean swat their hand. You know, I mean of course, you know. But I think you touched on something. My dad was an angry person.
Yeah.
And I mean, it comes like John knew him and he didn't know that angry side of him. I knew him. That's all I knew was that angry side of him. And I feel a lot of times he was frustrated with his life. And then if we did something that wasn't fit into a weird box he had in his mind, we were going to get.
The more I talk to you about your dad, it seems like your dad's overall arch in life is what people thought about him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's why no one saw the anger.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Is because he reserved that for when behind closed doors.
Oh, for sure. He had inferiority complex 100%, which is weird because, I mean, obviously he grew up in a terrible household, which we see a lot of. And I'll come to some of the comments in the chat, which I find interesting in just a second here. But, yeah, he grew up in a very bad household. He was beat. And I mean, I have been beaten before. I've been spanked and I've been beaten. I can tell you there's a line.
There's a difference, yeah.
There's a line where it's bad, like whatever you think spanking, I mean, but this was beating, and he was beat. And so he didn't have much education. He was lower class growing up. So, and when we grew up, I mean, spanking was probably common with you didn't meet many people that didn't spank their children, man. If they did, they weren't talking about it.
Well, I mean, the whole thing, you mentioned biblical. I mean, in Proverbs it says, spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yep.
And so, I mean, it's like almost a lot of people view that as God giving them permission to beat their kids.
Right, yeah.
When, that rod could be just a switch and it could be just one boom
right, yeah.
on the butt. It doesn't mean
right. Wear
destroy your child.
Right, sure.
Don't leave lasting marks. If you're leaving marks on your children, you need to go see somebody.
Well, you probably need, you need to see something. You probably need to have kids taken away for some time. I mean, Adrian Peterson, football player, was one of the infamous, was hitting his kids with a switch so much it was leaving welts and marks on their butt. I mean, it's ridiculous. So from the chat, it said, Robin said, I also no longer support spanking. Kent Peterson said there's some schools nearby that still spank the kids, which is crazy to think about. Yes, that is wild to think about. There is no way in hell any teacher or person in school would spank my child.
I know when we were in school, they were still doing
Oh,
that.
Hell yeah, dude. That was the fear. Like I remember in fourth grade, I'll never forget this moment. This one kid was acting up. They pulled him out, and this was an open area school. I mean, you could hear everything, dude. I mean, like there were walls up, but you could hear. He took him into the bathroom. You could hear the paddle just hitting his butt and this kid crying out. I was like, I'm never going to have that happen. My parents used to say, if you get spanked at school, you're going to get spanked at home. I said this, if anyone ever put their hands on my kid at school, I'm going to jail because I'm going to go down there and whoop their ass, dude. Straight up 100%. I want to make that known. That ain't ever going to happen, but that is crazy. It's still allowed. But we're in a time where half the country thinks one way, half the other. I think as we evolve as a society, I think spankings will be gone in another 50 years. But I mean, I don't know. I'll probably be dead. So who knows?
I mean, it may have something to do with being in the South.
Yeah.
Because when I was in kindergarten, I went to school in Arkansas. Spankings.
Mm-hmm.
They had them.
Yep.
When I went up north, Baltimore,
okay,
no smoking, no spankings at all.
Yeah.
Moved back down here to Tennessee in 7th grade. There was one teacher that was kind of the enforcer.
Yeah.
He was the one that did it.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, I thought this was a cool, laid-back teacher. And then, I
heavy.
never got it. But
right.
He pulled out this board that was about 18 inches long, holes in it, about 6 inches wide. And I'm like, oh, you're that guy?
Yeah.
And I just never, I couldn't even look at that teacher in the eye anymore.
I don't know how.
I was just like, man, I thought you were really cool. And then, no, you're just, because it brings me back to this is an adult male that is hitting kids.
I'm with you. It's weird.
That is not his own.
You're right. It's bizarre.
I mean, I got paddles from my mom. You know, I
Right,
got
yeah.
punished for my mom. I dare say it was warranted every time I got it. From my dad, not so much, but from my mom,
Right.
you know, if I got beat, I deserved it.
Right.
But it brings me back to that whole, you know, Chauvin or, you know, Nugent.
Angry dudes.
It's like, I mean, and the thing is you're 12, 13-year-old processing this information that this is the guy that other teachers will bring their kids to
Right.
paddle.
Mm-hmm.
That they're not willing to do it themselves. If someone's not willing to do something,
Then,
and you are,
right, yeah.
you gotta look at something, examine that situation, and be like, okay, why is there a difference here?
Yeah, I agree.
And it's not like he was the only male teacher. You know, there were other ones, and nope. I'm just not that guy.
I can't even imagine being a teacher doing that. So Baco says, my dad, God rest his soul, was beat as a child. Therefore, he never laid a hand on me or my sisters. It's funny how that works because some people carry that into it, and then some people go, hell no. And I feel like I'm almost like, hell no. I'm not. You know.
To me, there's people who are their parents or they do a 180.
Yeah.
I used to work as a janitor at a elementary school, and one of the teachers that I really got along with, she was teaching pre-K. So these are like 3 and 4-year-old kids.
Right.
And there was a set of twins, a boy and a girl. Cute as could be, both of them, but you could tell that the way their clothes were and just kind of the way they carried themselves, their home life wasn't ideal.
Right.
Come to find out, the little girl was complaining about her foot hurting.
Oh, no.
And so the teacher took her shoes and socks off to see what was wrong, if there was something, if she was hurt. There were cigarette burns on the bottom of her feet.
Oof, man.
Now,
Yeah.
if there are cigarette burns on the bottom of a child's foot, you know that parent, A, was doing it on purpose.
Oh.
Because there's multiple ones.
Right.
And they were doing it. They knew it was wrong because they were doing it on a part of the child's body that you would not normally see.
Trying to hide it. Yeah. Right. Right.
I mean, it's not up and down her arms or on the, you know.
Ouch.
No, it was on the bottom of her foot. And coming from a household where there was abuse, you know, I'm the first one in line to, you know, judge lest you be judged. But I feel that I have a right to judge this person because I grew up in a situation where I saw firsthand what abuse was like in a household.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you
And
say
so-
judge not let you be judged. You're judging them based on something you're not doing. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you would not do that. You wouldn't put cigarette burns.
I'm judging him because I wouldn't do that.
Right, right,
But I had a
yes.
similar
right.
situation.
Right.
So, and my brother, by far he took the brunt of my dad's beatings.
Mm.
I'm a pretty sick kid. I was in a hospital anyway,
Yeah.
so I wasn't getting hit a lot. But my brother definitely took the brunt of most of the beatings in my household. But he does not lay a finger on any of his kids.
That's good. I mean, that's what you want to happen, but
And so,
it's funny how that.
and that was this guy's justification. He was like, oh, he's in tears. Oh, my parents did this, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, then you ought to know better.
Yeah, you should.
You ought to know how it feels, so you should not be doing this.
Yeah.
Obviously, they took the kids away from him, which,
Well, good.
God bless. But, I mean,
It could have been a bad situation. So yeah, and then Robin says a good account to follow on Instagram is called Big Little Feelings about reparenting ourselves so we can better guide our children. So Big Little Feelings if you want to follow them, and then we got some other people are very passionate about it. This is a very interesting conversation to have. So definitely let us know what you think on social media. If you listen on the podcast, what do you think about spanking? Because like I say, the gamut runs wide on it for sure. All right, well, that's our news stories for this week, and now it is time to get to what everybody wants to know. It's time for our Mount Rushmore of Stoners, man. That's right, 420. It was this week, dude. Yeah, man. I didn't see a lot of 420 thing on Twitter this year. I don't know. Maybe the Stoners are in hiding. I don't know, man. But Stoners, obviously, we're going to do, you do movies, TV shows, just movies? Movies. Yes.
both.
Okay. Mine
I
are
don't have many
Mine
TV
are all
shows.
movies. Mine are all movies. But we're doing Stoners. We're just going to say that. People can figure it out. But I took it to mean people that are high often through the movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of their.
I took it as someone who is known for carrying characteristics that have become synonymous with people who frequented the ganja.
Yes. Yeah, man. Stuff like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this week, John goes first. So, John, who is your first on your Mount Rushmore of Stoners?
I might have to get some. You may veto part of this.
You're not going to say everybody from Dazed and Confused.
No,
you can't do that.
I'm not going to do that.
You can't say Cheech and Chong. It's got to be one person.
That's okay.
Because
I have Cheech.
Oh, that's funny. Because okay, good. Okay. So your number one is Cheech.
I chose Cheech.
Because Chong might come up later. I think Chong is the funnier stoner of the two.
He is funnier.
He's stoned more than Cheech. Because Cheech is like the straight man. Why did you put Cheech over Chong?
Cheech over Chong because, I mean, basically for this one you could really go either way.
I mean, when you think of Tommy Chong, you think of
that's the first. But you think of Cheech Marin. That's the first thing you think of. Now, obviously, he's done other roles,
right? Yeah,
that were not. I mean, when he was in the Nash Bridges with Don Johnson,
that's true. Weird casting.
Yeah,
it's a weird show.
He was very, he was like a cop. So no, he didn't. But I mean,
how does that casting all go?
I do not know.
We need Don Johnson. Okay, that makes sense. Don Johnson, a cop. He looks like a cop.
Yeah.
Who should his partner be? What about that Cheech Marin guy? Did you watch that show? I did. I watched it every week for a long time, dude. It was. Anyways, go ahead.
For those who don't know, my brother from another mother here, David, and I, and some other friends had a Access TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a character that I played that was heavily based on Cheech Marin's role and the Cheech and Chong, and it was my namesake. Tico was the name of the character.
Mm-hmm.
The voice was his, the way I acted, everything. Dare say forgive me. This was the late 90s. I had a Mexican accent. And so, yes, but...
I don't even know if that's correct. Is it a Mexican accent? Or is that an accent from Mexico? Or is it... I don't know.
East L.A. accent. I don't know.
Whatever. Okay, whatever.
That you know what I'm saying. When I say it, you know.
Hispanic accent, yes.
But anyway, so that's why it's mainly because of that. And just, I mean, one of those two has to be the number one.
Oh, for sure. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess.
So.
I thought you were going someone else, number one. But, all right. So there we go. Cheech is off the board. Good choice. I would be a hypocrite if I did not list my number one is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Okay.
One of my favorite comedies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Dude is constantly high.
Man.
It's not, you usually think of stoners like white or Hispanic dudes, but Smokey from Friday is my number one.
Definitely on my list.
He is high through that whole movie. There is not a scene in that movie where Smokey is not high. Okay.
Yeah.
I would say the same thing about Cheech and Chong movie. They're really high the entire movie. Smokey, if you've never watched Friday, I would say stop what you're doing. Stop listening to this podcast. Go watch Friday. It is, to me, the best comedy of all time.
It came out in, what was it, 95?
95-ish. Yeah. I can watch it over and over and over. I could just watch it. Smokey, to me, is one Halloween. I wanted to go as Smokey, but I was like, I don't think I can because I'm white and I think people won't know who I am. But Smokey would be great because it's an easy costume. It's just a big blue baggy T-shirt, jeans, a backwards hat, and a joint. That's it. So Smokey and Craig, are they cousins or just friends?
Just friends.
They're just friends. They get into. You've probably seen Friday. Anyway, they have to basically, as Smokey would say.
I mean, his name's Smokey.
As Craig said, how are you going to sell all the weed if you're going to smoke all the weed? And he goes, I don't know. That's my only problem. So anyways, great movie. Smokey's great. There's so many great scenes in the movie. Just
highly quotable.
Oh, very much so. So that's my number one, Smokey. All right. What's your number two,
My
John?
number two. Had to kick it back to the 80s.
Here we go.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Had to go with Sean Penn's Spicoli.
Spicoli, man.
What's your problem, man? It's
hard to believe that's Sean Penn, number one. I mean, the Sean Penn today would never play that role, dude.
No.
But Spicoli is in a movie Fast Time at Ridgemont High. If you've not seen it, it is a must see for anyone our age. For Phoebe Cates alone, Phoebe Cates scene, but Spicoli is a standout character. Just a dude that likes to get high, and
there's a lot of people in that movie that you're like, you're gonna watch it and you're like, oh, there's Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know,
I mean, it's wild.
And there's just the list goes on. Jennifer Jason Leigh. We mentioned Phoebe Cates.
Judge Reinhold, who's in the Phoebe Cates scene.
Yes.
I don't know how he ever got another role after that. I mean, because if you've never seen that scene, just Google Phoebe Cates. I guarantee you it will be the first thing that pops up on YouTube. Yeah. I mean, guarantee. I don't know if they'll show the nudity, but as a young man growing up, that scene was, whoa. I'll just say that, okay? Yeah. So all the time, Spicoli, great, orders the pizza in the classroom, He's a great stoner, man. He embodies like the stoner vibe, man. Yeah, man, I just want to party, dude, and get high, and they get in the van, all the smoke. So, okay, that's good. All right, my number 2. This is also, man, I think this is one of the most underrated stoners in the history of the world. Another one of my favorite movies of all time. One that's made the list before of characters in the movie. I'm talking True Romance.
Floyd.
I'm talking Brad Pitt as Floyd. He almost was number 1, dude.
Before we started, I said I had somebody on my list that was kind of dedicated to you.
Oh yeah,
that was him,
dude. People are gonna say you're crazy. I think this is one of Brad Pitt's 3 best roles of all time.
You need to go back and watch this scene with him in the movie.
Just watch.
I mean, the whole movie is amazing. It's a great movie. It's it's highly underappreciated.
Oh, very much so.
But it's by far, and I love Quentin Tarantino. That's my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie.
It's technically not a Tarantino movie though. Directed by Tony Scott.
But I mean, he wrote it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's probably his. It's hard to say, but it is a very fantastic movie. And so Brad Pitt plays Floyd, who lives with an actor, and every scene he's in, he's baked. I mean, dude. He may be the most high dude in any movie I've ever seen. So these mobsters come over
outside of Leaving Las Vegas. I mean, not Leaving Las Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Okay,
I would agree with you.
Yeah, but those dudes are on like that's multiple
whole lot of stuff. Yeah.
I'm mainly saying weed for the stoners.
So yeah, I'd probably agree with you.
But the mobsters come in and they're trying to get an address. This is why I love this dude. So he's high as a kite, dude, and they pull out guns on him. He's like, whoa, dude, he's smoking like a honey bear. He's got a bong honey bear, which I love that. That's so great. And they're like, and so he gives them the address after they pull the guns, and he walks out, and he's trash talking them as they walk out the door.
After they leave, he's like, "Don't condescend me, man."
I mean,
he's great.
Oh, you don't even know it's Brad Pitt. Like at the time, you don't really know who Brad Pitt is. When you see it, like you know who he is, but you're like, is that Brad Pitt? Oh, so Floyd. Oh, I love him. I think it's it may be my favorite performance of the entire Mount Rushmore. It's small. It's a cameo. He's only in 2 scenes, but my God, those 2 scenes are so great. So that's my number 2, Floyd. All right, who you got?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
All right.
My next one is Saul from James Franco from Pineapple Express.
That's a good one. I always say about Pineapple Express, if you want to know what it's like to be high and you've never smoked, watch Pineapple Express. I don't know how they directed that movie, but it is so, and this is a compliment, it's so disjointed and so weird, it feels like you're constantly just high while watching it. So it's a story of Franco and Seth Rogen, who made some great comedies together, had some great shows together, Freaks and Geeks, Pineapple Express.
It's a great show, too.
What was that other one? The End of the World or whatever, that funny one?
End of the World, The Interview.
Yeah, they're great together. But in this one, Franco is a drug dealer?
He's a drug dealer.
Okay, he's a drug dealer who likes to...
Seth Rogen's job is basically he serves people.
Okay, gotcha. And he I don't know if that dude smokes all the time, but I would imagine everybody on this list probably smokes frequently when they got these roles.
I mean, Seth Rogen has been known for being a pothead.
Oh, hey, yeah. I mean, he is, but he plays kind of almost a straight man in this movie because Franco like chews it up as the pothead.
Oh, yes.
The movie involves insanity. There's shootouts. There's craziness. I mean, the movie doesn't even make any sense, man. That's what I'm saying.
It's like the Cable Guy.
Yeah.
Plus, like Beverly Hills Cop.
It's weird. It is.
Yeah, and it's just like, yeah.
It's just weird. It's a weird movie, but I love it. It's funny. It's got Danny McBride in it.
Yeah.
He's great.
Red.
He's always great in anything he shows up in. But man, it is a fantastic movie. If you're looking for something just off the beaten path, man, that's one you gotta watch. So yeah, there you go. Saw, a good one. I had him on my list for sure. All right, number 3 for me. I don't know how you didn't grab this dude, but the dude from The Big Lebowski.
He's on my list,
bro. What this guy? There is now Lebowski Fest. People love this movie so much, and they love the character of the dude played by Jeff Bridges, that there is a Lebowski convention every year where everyone dresses up as the dude and they just all get together and meet and hang out and probably get blasted. You know, I don't know how high he's high in this movie quite a bit. Once again, like I say, everybody on the list so far has been, I would say, baked the entire movie. The dude probably, he seems like he's high 24/7, you know. He just wants to get high and drink a White Russian. You know, he walks around in a bathrobe. He's got a beard, and he's just the dude, man. I love The Big Lebowski. I can't say it's underrated because I think enough people like it, but
it seems like if you took the word man out of the script for these movies,
man,
it would like it cut the script in half.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, so it's if you've never seen The Big Lebowski, I don't know how many people listening to this podcast have never seen The Big Lebowski. I would imagine.
It seems like if you were a fan of this podcast, you should be a fan of that movie.
Yeah, I would say of all the movies we listed, that would probably have to be seen the most, I would imagine. Because if we have younger listeners, they probably haven't seen Fast Times. They probably haven't seen Cheech and Chong. They might have even seen Friday. I mean, Friday, hell, is old now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think of it still as like, I'm like, oh, it's a new movie. It came out like over 20 years ago. All right, well, Pineapple Express is kind of like an indie. I would say Big Lebowski is probably like one of those most people have seen. But if you've not seen it, and once again, sometimes you're watching it, seems like you're kind of high. Just truthfully, it's a bender. It's Coen Brothers, so it's out there. So, the dude is my number 3. All right, John, your last one. Who you got?
My last one is really torn.
Okay,
but I'm gonna go, and a lot of this has to do with the look of the actor.
Okay.
Because this actor, long before this movie came out, back in his Saturday Night Live days, just looking at the guy, he looks like he's
on my list.
Continually stoned.
Yep. Go ahead.
And it is Brian,
Yep,
played by Jim Brewer from Half Baked.
Definitely on my list.
He just looks like he's high.
That's a good one, bro.
And I was like, man, and just, oh gosh.
Of everyone listed so far, he's probably, and this is saying a lot, because I mean, you got Cheech, you got the dude, you got Pineapple Express, but he's probably the most, if you were like, hey man, do a stoner impersonation, you're doing Brian, yeah. You're doing Brian from Half Baked, man. Like, hey man, let's go get some pizza, man. I'm telling you this, all these movies are fantastic. If you've never seen Half Baked, do you know what Half Baked is on Rotten Tomatoes, dude? It blew my mind. It's like in the 30s.
What?
Yeah. It's one of my favorite comedies of all time.
It's hilarious. And it's like there's so many like cameos in this movie that are way left field that you would not expect. Bob Saget, Jonathan Stewart.
Well, let me just jump into my number 4.
Oh my
my number 4 is a dude in Half Baked. Willie Nelson is my number 4 from Half Baked. I didn't want to just step on that, but Willie is in this movie.
He is in the movie.
So I had to put him on. I wanted Willie on. I had to say, I know he's been in some movies, but I was like, I need a movie where he's just high in the movie. Because if there's ever a human being that just personifies that, it's Willie Nelson. So you got Brian from Half Baked. I have Willie Nelson from Half Baked. Snoop Dogg, Willie Nelson. The Bob Saget scene is just the best. That scene is hilarious. Once again, I'm assuming everybody's seen Half Baked, but basically, it stars Dave Chappelle. He's a guy that's just a janitor at like a
hospital or something.
Hospital, and they start flying. They start having like medicinal marijuana there. Okay, yeah. So basically, this is how weird this movie is. Their friend accidentally, they get high. Their friend feeds a horse, a police horse. The horse dies. Chong is in that movie as well. Police horse dies. He goes, it's Harlan Williams. Fantastic.
Yeah.
He goes to prison for the murder of a cop. So he's looking at life like in prison pretty much. And in prison, he meets Tommy Chong.
Tommy Chong's in prison, yeah.
Who's like his prison boyfriend or husband or whatever. And so they have to raise enough money to get him out of prison, which I don't know how that even really works. That doesn't even make sense. So they steal the marijuana from the hospital, and then they start selling it as the nice guy. You know, that's the name of their company. It features Dave Chappelle and Dave Chappelle in the same scene. It's an all-time movie, dude. It's just fantastic. All the celebrities come in. Jon Stewart's in. I don't know if you said that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's about a perfect movie, dude. I don't know how it's got 30% on Rotten
Part of
Tomatoes.
Jamaica. Right off the beach.
Up right in the beach, man. Me and my wife say that all the time. What part of Jamaica? Oh, yeah. So anyways, man, great movie. Okay, so I'm going to run down our list and we'll go over our also rans. John had Cheech. He had Spicoli. He had Saul from Pineapple Express and Brian from Half Baked. I had Smokey from Friday, Floyd from True Romance, the Dude from The Big Lebowski, and Willie Nelson in Half Baked. So, John, who did you not get to include on your list of stoners, man?
I have also Jay and Silent Bob.
I had Jay as well. That's fun. Let's see how many we share on here.
Shaggy from the Scooby-Doo.
I didn't have them, but we discussed that last week.
The reason why I didn't pick Chong was because I also put Leo from that 70s show, which he plays that character.
See, that's why I think Chong is, I mean, they're synonymous. Who cares?
Yeah. You said Floyd from Bad Pit. Floyd, you said Smokey. Ted, voiced by Seth MacFarlane from the Ted movies.
Oh, yeah.
And Harold and Kumar.
Yeah, I didn't include Harold and Kumar. I did also, who I didn't get to was Slater from Dazed and Confused. Dazed and Confused has some great stoners in it as well. You could have saved even Matthew McConaughey, but he's more like the ladies' man. Slater, that dude, the long-haired dude, is high throughout the whole freaking movie. He's like...
Matthew McConaughey, his character is like, everything would be better if you happen to have some pot.
Yeah.
But that's not his driving force.
He likes the ladies.
He likes the
ladies. Then pot. The dude I listen is pot.
Yeah.
Pot, where he's just high. You know, he's like waxing philosophically. Like, you know, if you know people that smoke too much, they start like waxing philosophically. You're like, all right, dude, let's stop. I mean,
other like honorable mentions could be like the cast of Soul Plane.
Yeah, I thought about, if I had another one, I probably would put Snoop Dogg because he's consummate. I mean, the dude's high 24/7, which what a life that these dudes can just be high 24/7.
I mean, there's some people that you like personify. We use that word.
Yeah.
Willie Nelson, Snoop Dogg, you know, Tommy Chong, Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah.
Other people that you don't think about pot without thinking of them, and you don't think about them without thinking about pot.
So, and as we, you know, and back in the day, it was more of kind of like a insult, like, oh, you're a stoner, man. But now it's kind of like, all right, dude, so what? You know, it's not, it don't have the same kind of weight.
It's
so now,
say, oh, you're a stoner, man. Yeah. You got any?
You got some weed carrying, man.
And then probably one of our favorite skits from Saturday Night Live.
Oh, you put the weed in there?
You put the weed in there.
That's a great one. So that was our Mount Rushmore of stoners. Let us know who we left off the list that you would have included. But I think we got a strong one this week.
The Cast of Grandma's Boy.
Oh, that's a great movie, too. That's another great Happy Madison movie that I don't feel gets enough love. I feel it's a funny movie, dude.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that was that. So I want to throw out a movie I watched real quick. We got a couple minutes. I had never seen this movie before, and it featured 2 Marvel characters in it. It had Hemsworth and the guy who plays Baron Zemo in it. It's a movie called Rush.
Oh.
Have you ever seen this movie?
I have not.
So I would always see it, and I was like, I don't know.
I'm not a race car guy movie.
It's like a Ron Howard. Me either. I'm like, it's a Ron Howard movie. And the other night, what I do, I'm looking for movies. I said, let's give it a shot. I love Hemsworth. I think he's hilarious. I think he's great. The movie was super good, man. It's based on a true story. It's about.
And it's also Batman's in it. Christian Bale.
No, that's Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, yeah.
Rush right now is on Netflix, and if you're looking for a good movie that's just enjoyable, it does everything it's supposed to do. It gets you into the world. It introduces nice characters, a little rivalry going on where they kind of turn into friends, based on a true story, as I've read, very historically accurate. So if you're looking for a good movie to watch, you're looking, you know, that's the problem. You're late at night, you're looking for movies to watch, and you're like, dumb, nah. You're like, I don't know. But Rush, I'm telling you, man, it's a great movie. It's just a good popcorn movie. You don't have to think too much. You can just enjoy it. Some great race scenes. And Hemsworth, dude should be a star. I mean, if I had to come back and let you got to look like somebody, I'll take Hemsworth. I mean, the dude is like, him as Thor is next level anyway. I mean, Thor. You're like, dude,
It
Thor's
looks like he was cut out of the comic book.
well, you're like, Thor's gonna be a comic book hero. We're like, lame. I mean, honestly, like even he was funny even in Avengers, but he got better, man. At the end, he was like still in the show. I mean,
Well, after the first two movies, he was like, especially after The Dark World, he was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
right,
Because he was just like, he didn't like the way the character was going.
right,
And then he's like, all right, I'll do Ragnarok. And that's it.
changed it.
And then he did Ragnarok. He's like, I love this guy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
He really found his footing in those last few movies. So there we go. If you want to see Rush, that's my movie recommendation of the week. And we are out of time. Wow, hour goes quick, man. Well, we talked about a lot of things. Hopefully,
Can I squeeze in 2 minutes?
sure, go for it.
2 minutes.
What you got?
For any of you who are out there selling or trying to promote something, you got to know your audience.
Okay.
And I've been going by Mr. Groupon for like 4 years now.
Oh no.
They've got a new ad campaign. If you are using a Groupon, a coupon, a promo code, you are not edgy. You are the opposite of edgy.
Okay.
So Groupon's new ad campaign, they're trying to be edgy, and it's like, are you blanking ready? That's the ad campaign, and it's got the symbols for the first 4 letters, then ing.
This is Groupon's
And
ads.
it's Groupon.
Huh.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's a bit odd.
It's extremely odd.
Are you blanking ready?
Yeah, and it bleeps it out.
Right. Are you bleeping ready? Yeah.
So, yeah, they're implying that that's...
Are you effing ready?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what, yes.
And so, yeah, whoever thought of this ad campaign
Wow.
is an idiot.
I'm taking this clip and I'm showing it to Groupon. I am. You
And I have sung your praises for 4+ years
This is
now,
Mr. Groupon, dude. This is Mr. Groupon.
and I'm knocking you now. Okay,
He said your ad campaign sucks.
it's horrible.
Just appeal to your market.
Yes,
Middle class people that want to save a buck. We don't need. Are you effing ready to get a Groupon? No, not with that aggression. I'm not. I don't want your products anymore. So
I mean, you'd be better off using Stewart from Mad TV and saying, "Look what I can do,"
someone got.
and that would be more in your market than "Are you blanking ready?"
Someone got paid for for that idea. Just think about that next time you think. Somebody came up with that idea and everybody went, "That's a great one. Let's get edgy."
This is what cool people do and say. We want to be cool. So,
I'm
no,
with you.
if you're trying to save a buck and you're obvious about it, then you're not cool.
I would agree.
All right?
That's
and
true.
if you're using a Groupon, you're obvious.
There you go. Shots fired at Groupon from Mr. Groupon. There we go. What a way to end the show. Fire ending. We are Blame Your Brother. We want you to check us out on the internet. If you go to bybpod.com, that is our website where you can find all the stuff on there you need. It's got all of our social media accounts. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. If you're watching right now, hit that like button right now. Do it right now. We want 15, 18 likes, however many people are watching the show tonight. It's got all of our past episodes. It's got articles. It's got ways to just grab the show, email us, and it's got our Amazon affiliate link, which someone bought quite a few things this week. So I don't know if that was John or someone else.
Sounds like somebody really cool.
Oh, there we go. Maybe it was John. But yes.
Maybe it was somebody who works for Groupon.
It could be. I know.
Because those people are edgy.
But yeah, if you're going to buy anything on Amazon, please use our link. Just go to the website on your phone, on your browser, bybpod.com, click on the Amazon link, and get it done, okay? That helps us out. We get a small percentage of sales, and, it helped this week as well, and we appreciate that all the time when it happens. So that is it, bybpod.com. You can grab our podcast on all the platforms. Like I said, subscribe to us on YouTube, on any of the podcast platforms. It really helps us out. Spread the word, share, retweet. Tell your friends about it. Do it. Tell everyone you love the show. And with all that being said, John, is there anything else?
Don't blame yourself when you can blame your brother.
Oh, man.
Don't say we.